Good afternoon. It's a great day in Boerne, Texas. I'm Joi Sanders, and welcome to Sell Wine to Joi, where we talk a little bit about wine, you get a little education, and maybe we sell some wine too. And so today, I'm super excited to have Sil from St. Tryphon Wineries from here in Boerne. Sil, welcome.
Thank you, Joey. This is absolutely lovely. My first time doing a radio spot.
Awesome. I'm glad that you're here. And then we're also here with Boerne from Boerne Radio. Thank you, Boerne.
Hey, my house is your house. Wait a minute. Your house?
My house is your house. That's right. Awesome. So briefly, just introduce these three wines that you brought today.
Cool. Absolutely. Thank you, Joey. We have three wines we're going to taste through today, one of which you're very familiar with, Triptych, the 21 Triptych. Which we just rolled out a few months ago. And then additionally, we're going to try our 2023 Albarino, a barrel-fermented version, and then our 21 Cab Franc, which was selected by Texas Monthly as one of the top 12 wines of Texas.
I love a Cab Franc.
Me too.
It's an unsung hero.
It is.
Well, let's get started with the first one, the Albarino.
Cool. So Albarino is our leading white varietal we make every year. We do two versions, a stainless steel fermented version, which we call El Jardín, and then a much smaller production of a barrel fermented version, which we call Cuvée Clarence.
So tell us about Cuvée Clarence, because you kind of introduced me to that the other day. Cuvée Clarence is named after...
My father.
Awesome. So we're trying, which one are we trying? The Clarence?
Cuvée Clarence, yeah.
Okay.
So like I mentioned, Albarino is our main white varietal. I love Albarino because it bears a lot of similarity to Sauvignon Blanc, so it can be kind of coaxed into a wine which is summery, bright, acid-driven, which in our climate of 9 months of summer, it's perfect. But it also takes to barrel regimen really nicely. And so in this iteration, which we've made since 2018, we're kind of trying to coax it into something more like a white Burgundy. So it receives two brand new French oak barrels and then two neutral barrels.
So what's going to be the difference between new oak and neutral oak for us? And kind of explain that to all of us. So, what it imparts.
Yeah, so a brand new French barrel, and then we have American oak barrels, French oak, Hungarian, Russian oak even, and those are all barrels produced, and then various levels of toasting will go into each barrel. We usually prefer medium toast because we don't like too much of that kind of baked wood, baked spice component to be in our wines, but that's a stylistic choice that we make. And so for the first year to 3 years, as you age a wine in barrel, that wine is taking on all that flavoring component of the barrel. And every year after that, you're losing a lot of that flavoring component of the barrel. And, around year 4, year 5, year 6, you definitely have a barrel that is beautiful for aging wine, but it's no longer going to impart a flavor aspect to the wine.
Thank you for explaining that to us. That is awesome. Perfectly explained. So thanks. So, well, let's smell this and let's try it. I'm definitely getting that oak. I really am.
Yeah, it's there.
It's good. It's good. And you didn't do any Malo in this as well.
I did a little Malo.
Little Malo?
One barrel.
One barrel was Malo.
Yeah.
Okay. And just briefly, that Malo, for anybody that's new to Malo, might want to just briefly explain that?
Really, basically, what you're getting is creaminess, technically speaking, as the acid moves from something really acidic to something more creamy.
Yeah.
Just to keep it pretty simple. Many Chardonnays undergo full Malo fermentation, but in the last decade or so, you'll see a lot of unoaked and then unmallowed Chardonnays, and that delivers more of a crisp, bright flavor profile than a Malo fermentation does.
Well, I like this. I think it's really balanced. I think that what you did with the oak and the small amount of Malo that you did really balanced it out. It's not overly creamy like certain wines.
Yeah, it would have been fun to try this alongside the El Jardín, the barrel fermented, the stainless steel, fermented version, to really, really see that flavor difference, because the harvest date, the inoculation, the yeast we use are all the exact same. Just one goes into stainless steel and the other goes into these barrels for fermentation. But they come out completely different wines.
Of course, and that's so much fun. I love that part of winemaking where you can really do something different. Same grape, same everything, and just that one little tweak can really change a wine.
Indeed.
It's really fun.
And I should mention, so it's called Cuvée Clarence, that's the name of the wine. the winery, St. Tryphon Farm and Vineyards, our first vintage was 2016. We opened up to the public in February of 2018. My dad was a big supporter of the project all along, and he sadly, unexpectedly died that fall in September of 2018 while we were harvesting Albarino. So I already known I wanted to make El Jardin, a stainless steel kind of Sauvignon Blanc-esque style of Albarino. When that happened, and we were literally picking those grapes, when I got the phone call, I knew I wanted to do something in honor of my dad. His name is Clarence Roger Bradford. He went by Roger his entire life. But Cuvée Roger didn't quite have the ring that Cuvée Clarence. So I'm like, all right, Dad, I'm sorry,
Awesome.
but I'm going to go by, going by Clarence on this one.
Yeah.
Roger. Yeah. It could have been Roger.
Cool. I love that. I love the story with this wine, and I really like this wine. This wine is really good.
Don't you think it has like a little white Burgundy character? I mean, we're
for sure,
yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
with
that just that little good amount of oak, for sure. I'm definitely getting a white Burgundy, and definitely not as full on like a California.
For sure. Yeah. It's European, and that's pretty characteristic of all of our wines is that they intentionally lean towards a European style. We're very minimalistic, interventionistic in our wine production. And so we want wines of restraint, of balance, of elegance, and of purity is what we strive for across the board.
Well, you're really getting it with this wine. I really love it. And you and I have known each other for a long time, I think.
We have, yeah.
And I've always enjoyed your wines. It's always been so much fun. And going up and seeing you and having you in our business with us has been really, really good.
It's been, since you guys, open, we've had at least one triptych, if not a couple triptychs, or a couple Tryphons on the menu.
Yes, we have. So cool. Well, I love this wine, and if anybody that really knows me, they know that white's my jam, especially something that's more stylistic like this, like leaner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
I really love it.
So I just sold some wine to Joey. You have to wait till the end of the show.
You have to wait till the end.
All right.
You have to wait till the end.
There's only 4 barrels, so.
There's only 4 it's probably well, anyway.
May I ask? There's a lovely story about the Cuvée Clarence, but most people don't know the name of where St. Tryphon comes from.
Oh, great question, Baron. That is true. St. Tryphon is the patron saint of grape growers and gardeners, hunters, and horses. So a lot going on there, but mainly grape growers and gardeners. That's his patronage. He is not real well known in the West, but if you go to like an Orthodox country, Greece, Romania, Bulgaria, Serbia, Russia, he's as well known there as St. Francis of Assisi is, for example, here in the West. Shockingly, no one had trademarked his name and used his name and honored him in a winemaking project. And so when I saw that, that's how we chose it.
That is so cool. I love it.
Did you know that?
I knew it was the patron saint of winemakers. I didn't know all the other stuff, but I did know it was.
Yeah, so I think that sums up, he could be the patron saint of Texas.
Horses and wine.
It's a lot there.
I think that would be, that's Texas right there. Just horses and wine and farming. How more Texas can you be? So cool. All right. So we tried the Albarino, the Clarence. Now we're trying the
Triptych.
The Triptych. So Triptych is a blend.
Correct.
This year's blend. Tell me a little bit about those varietals.
So Triptych is our perennial red blend. It's the only wine that I make really stylistically, where I wanted the flavor profile to be similar across vintages. And so depending on how the individual varietals are coming across in a different year, I might use less or more of one varietal or none at all and make a completely different blend, as I did in 2020. This one is Merlot, Mourvèdre, and Tannat.
We haven't brought this up yet, but all your juice, all the wine that you make is Texas wine. It's all juice from Texas.
That is true. And
Awesome.
Always has been, always will be. It's one of the things I love most about wine as a beverage in general is how tied to a place it is. So we've made wine from our vineyard, from a couple of vineyards in the Texas Hill Country. Most of our fruit comes from the Texas High Plains, which in my opinion is, at this point in time, for sure, Texas's best grape growing climate. But yeah, our commitment, and there's many others like us that are committed to 100% Texas, because wine is supposed to evoke place, speak of place. So the French have the word terroir for it, and it's really the message that, we want to make beautiful wines that compete on a global scale from our state and be super proud of it. And we can.
And you do.
And we are.
It does show. It does show. Real quick, before I just completely disregard the Albarino, I want to talk real quick about what I would pair that with. I'm thinking even with the amount of oak and creaminess, it could stand up to even like some duck even. I think it might. Now, as far as like what I would drink with this here at the Richter, like I'd have it with the Joi nachos or...
You have everything with the Joi nachos.
Well, actually, it's not true, but, I'm trying to think of like any of our light fare. Any light fare is going to go with this, but I think this wine can even stand up something a little heartier like a duck. Yeah.
It could. I mean, I think for me, I like a potatoes pave with a roast chicken would be just absolutely decadent. It's got enough acid.
If only I had that right now, I would love that. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Roast chicken.
Are we going to call upstairs or what?
No. No, that's a whole nother radio show we'd have to do. No. Okay. So
Triptych is, like I said, our red blend, and this vintage is Merlot Mourvèdre and Tannat. Triptych itself, the word means it's an art form consisting of 3 different images that are meant to inform and enhance one another when shown together. And so the idea is always 3 varietals. I have to admit I have cheated a couple times where one other varietal really made the difference, and so there has been as many as 4 varietals in a triptych, but that is the kind of conception of the name.
Awesome. Well, it's a lovely color. It's just slightly a little garnet. It's garnet, it's a nice color and
very savory.
Yes, it is a very savory wine. I have some regulars that they come in and just drink this all day.
It's our largest production wine and arguably our best selling wine, and also it has the image of Saint Tryphon, which, as you know, is right behind the original, the Remy Yang original of Saint Tryphon is directly behind the bar in our tasting room.
Yes. I'm getting some, if I'm wrong, but I'm getting some like cherry today off of this.
Oh, total cherry.
Yeah. It's really nice.
It's a cherry bomb. But then it's got this underpin of kind of herbaceousness.
Yes.
It's got a really nice acidity, which is kind of what you're speaking to with the cherry element. It's really supposed to be an all-season red. So, with the roast in the dead of winter, like we're in right now, but in the summertime with burgers, put a little chill on this. It can be a pizza wine. So I craft this in order to be just super versatile and a great introduction stylistically to our wines at Tryphon. One other thing that's, I think, interesting to mention that kind of sets us apart is that we do all wild fermentations on all of our red wines. We have done it on whites, but the results weren't always as compelling as I found them to be with red. So what that means, it's feral fermentation, wild fermentation, lots of different names for it. But basically you're using the yeast that's out there in the vineyard for fermentation. So this is how all wine, it's nothing new under the sun, right? This is how wine was always made really up until the 70s, where with the introduction of packets of yeast and dry yeast, cultured yeast, that then became a place where the winemaker had additional kind of input. Now we have yeast that will highlight a cherry or highlight a lemon or highlight, different flavor components. I choose not to do wine like that because I feel like you're moving it away from wine qua wine back to like the terroir and just a sense of place into more of a beverage. That's a stylistic choice, though. It doesn't mean the wine is better or worse. It's just a different way and an older form, kind of speaking to kind of more of a European, old world style wine.
I think I've heard before, too, that they talk about even the yeast is considered part of terroir.
It is.
So when, and we've talked about terroir before, and terroir is basically the soil that the climate, even to like being on the side of a hill, which side of the hill you're on, or which side of a river or everything. But now they're even starting to say it, especially if you're using wild yeast like that it's still part of the terroir because that's part of that, like you talk about, is that sense of place that a wine has. And I think that that's really important with wine. I love the sense of place. I love that. And anytime that anybody comes into Cork and Keg or upstairs and has wine, they know I love every place. So we have tons of wines. I love it. As long as they have a place, I'm down. So yeah, this is really great. And I love that you chose to do this stylistically. It's great.
Thank you.
And we can try this in the Cork and Keg?
Yes, the Triptych is in Cork and Keg right now and has been there for a while.
Since you opened.
Since we opened, since I took over the Cork and Keg.
Excellent.
Yeah. I think it's important to have some Texas wines, not just Sills, but other Texas wines. I don't do just Texas wine. Like I said, I like wine from everywhere. So I try and do.
I mean, we drink our wine, but at home, my wife and I are usually reaching for something French.
Yeah. Sometimes some Italian. So yeah, great. I'm loving this. This is great. Actually, I haven't tasted this until we went and picked up this wine that one
really?
day. Remember so we took a little drive one time, me and a couple of my coworkers, put the top down because it was a lovely day, put the top down and drove over to St. Tryphon. It's a beautiful drive.
It's a beautiful drive, and how it's like 7 minutes from North Main Street. I mean, we're very much a part of the Boerne community.
Yeah.
Even though we're in Sisterdale.
Yeah. Yeah, and on the bottle it says Fredericksburg, which is funny. Is that because that's the AVA for it, or?
That's actually where I made this wine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I rented a facility in Fredericksburg that vintage.
All these really interesting, cool things that we're learning today. I love it. Okay. So again, this is the St. Tryphon Triptych, which is available, of course, in the Cork and Keg. And like we said, really good for a versatile red wine that you can serve with just tons of different foods. I'm not even going to try. He's already said a bunch. So, okay. So next we're doing your Cab Franc.
Super excited about this wine. It's been a huge hit for us, like maybe too much of a huge hit for us, obviously, because we've only made it one time.
Okay.
So every year we pick one varietal that we've never made wine from before. And we've done Sauvignon Blanc, we've done Petit Syrah, and we put it in a tier of wine we call our experiment series. And so there's no like commitment that we'll make it again or not, but usually it's just a way for one to keep our wine club kind of excited about something new, something to try, and a way for me to be excited about working with a varietal that I haven't previously worked with and see what we can do in Texas with that varietal. So in 21, that was Cabernet Franc.
So before we try this wine, just remember that we tried the Albarino, the Clarence Albarino, and then we tried the St. Tryphon Triptych, and now we are moving on to the Cab Franc. All right, yay. See, this is lovely because it's just a little bit darker. And honestly, it's the right color for Cab Franc. I think sometimes Cab Franc makers, they make it a little lighter than it should be.
It's tricky. It sometimes getting a lot of extraction. This is like such textbook, beautiful Cab Franc.
It is.
I sell wine for a living. That's what I do. But I often don't like intentionally speak too super enthusiastically about my own wine because I want someone to enjoy it. It's not about my opinion. But on this wine, I think this is a stellar textbook Cab Franc.
So it has that bell pepper, that Pyrazines, which is so when you smell a wine and you smell that kind of peppery smell, that's Pyrazines is the term that we use for that. And Cab Franc classically really has that.
But it's in balance, I think.
It's
like,
sure.
Sometimes you have that green bell pepper wine. Sometimes that really pairs well with certain things in a really lovely way. But I'm happy that this didn't come across like rambunctiously full of that Pyrazine. It's there. And with it like graphite and a little salinity, but all very nuanced.
Yes, I'm definitely getting the salinity too. Yeah. Yeah, it's really classic. So there are people out there that say that Pyrazine is a fault, and I wholeheartedly disagree with that. And I think most people now disagree with that because I think that sometimes if you get a Cab Sauv that's super bell peppery and stuff, then they've kind of picked it too early.
That's usually what it is.
Yeah. So, but this is supposed to be like this, and I love it. I love that the Pyrazines in it.
Yeah, and this was very exciting for us. So back in October, or September, I should say, we heard from Texas Monthly. Every year they pick the top 12 wines of Texas. And, every winery submits, as many as they can. You're allowed, each winery is allowed to submit up to 4 wines.
Okay.
So, let's just say 100 wineries, we're of 400 wines, let's say. And that's a low number, to be selected by really, really advanced sommeliers, really, advanced people in the field of wine, journalists. To have this chosen was super exciting. Recognition for us after 8 years and many vintages, to get that recognition was really, really cool for us.
No, I'm super excited for you, and that is very meaningful. And I know it's more than 400 wines. I'm pretty sure.
It is. I'm really going. Yeah.
But I agree. This wine really deserves that recognition. I think that it really just fits that style that it's supposed to be, and I really love it. And I think, of course, because it has those bell peppery notes, of course it's going to go with any dish like shishito peppers or, anything that's got peppers in it. But also, you could just drink this wine on its own.
I like it by itself.
Just drink it by itself.
I didn't bring it today, but we have. So we always we have a wine called Dove and Falcon, which has traditionally been Cabernet Sauvignon and Tannat. The first vintage, it was like more or less 50-50, and then the vintage after that was 80% Cab Sauv and 20% Tannat. And this vintage, the 21 vintage, we actually decided not to use Cab Sauv and release that by itself, and made a very, very small production, 100 cases or so, of a Cab Franc Tannat blend, which is called Dove and Falcon. We didn't submit it to Texas Monthly. We were limited to 4 wines. I actually think that wine is even better than this Cab Franc. Awesome. The Tannat gives it a little more density, a little more structure, a little more tannin, definitely more color. And I feel like it does tone down a little of those Pyrazines and makes it more elegant. And we just released that in our December Wine Club allocation.
All right. Yeah, that is so nicely balanced. I really like that. And it does have a little tannin, but not overwhelming. And I think it's just really classic Cab Franc, the way Cab Franc. And an unsung grape, I think really a lot of people just think of it as a blending Bordeaux blend, but I think that Cab Franc on his own is so good and so different. And for those people that, Cab Sauv, try a Cab Franc.
It's a hot varietal now. I mean, it's really kind of in the last couple of years in, wine journalism and different vintners. I mean, you're hearing a kind of and I think it's also a movement towards lighter reds.
Yes.
And, it's got structure, it's got character and stuff, but it's also got so much balance, and it's not as blustery and as huge as Cab Sauv is. And so particularly in our climate here in Texas, lighter reds is what I'm always reaching for, is lighter bodied reds.
So they do well enough in the heat, those lighter reds, right? Yeah. I love that. I so appreciate that you choose varietals that you don't try and force Chardonnay or Cab Sauv into the picture, because I think a lot of wineries try and do that because people know those varietals but I think what you've done is really good, trying to match the varietals with the terroir here in Texas.
Yeah, and that is definitely the case. And so it's been Mourvèdre, Cinsault, Grenache, Albarino. Those are our mainstays, and that's really what we've kind of banked our reputation and what I think does really well in Texas. That being said, there's so many farmers, and the culture, Texas wine culture. And I'm talking farming know-how, viticulture, I'm talking enology and winemaking science. Everyone has grown and gotten so much better in the last decade that there's people making really beautiful Merlot and really beautiful Cab. And even one of the Texas Monthly's top 12 wines was Robert Clay Chardonnay from the Texas Hill Country.
Really?
Yeah. So it's, I also was in the camp of just these hot climate varietals, but through really smart and practical grape growing techniques and attention to cellar in the cellar to detail and things, I think there's We can, but I think what's exciting about Texas in general is working with these varietals that aren't the mainstays of Napa Valley, what people know. It's
Right.
like, and how many times even in the tasting room, am I explaining to people that Merlot is a grape? That Chardonnay is a grape. I mean, it's still, there's a lot of, they know they like Cab Sauv.
Yeah.
They don't really know it's a
Right.
grape,
Yeah.
and so and that's part of the fun is introducing people to wine at all, levels of knowledge without any pretense.
It is true. And honestly, there are 10,000 different varietals of the wine grape. I'm going to say this, the Vitis Vera.
Vitis vinifera.
Vitis vinifera. Thank you. I can say it, I can write it out, and I can show it to you, but every time I say it wrong. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So that grape itself, not the same as like your Thompson seedless grape, completely different grape, but there's still 10,000 different kinds of it.
I know, I make this joke in the tasting room all the time. Is like, I don't know when God was making everything, like why he put all the Vitis vinifera in Europe.
Yes.
And gave us like the crap grapes.
I know, right?
Vitis aestivalis and muscadine. And we got like Concord grape.
Yeah.
We can make Manischewitz.
Yeah.
It's like, why? I
Why?
don't know.
I don't know either. I agree. Well, but it did save us a little bit. Those of you that don't know, actually, Texas grapes saved the French wine industry because the phylloxera, which actually that's a whole nother show. I think we're not going to go into phylloxera or anything. That's a whole nother show.
What are the tariffs like there for St. Tryphon?
There are zero.
That's
tariffs.
right.
That's right. Well, that is true. Zero tariffs.
Well,
true.
that's true in one sense, but bottles, corks, all that. It's everything, as we all have experienced. I mean, everything has gotten more expensive across the board, but that's not necessarily a tariff-driven thing.
No. It's true. And wine is a global industry, regardless if you're making it here or not. Like you said, there's things that you still need from other places. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think that we've tried 3 wonderful wines.
Thank you, Joey.
And I think we've met Sil from St. Tryphon. So this has been a really fun time. Let's one more time go over. So go ahead and just one more time go over your 3 wines.
So today we tried the 2023 Albarino barrel-fermented version.
Okay.
Cuvée Clarence. Our red blend Triptych, also 2021. Merlot, Mourvèdre, and Tannat, and then our 100% Cabernet Franc.
So congratulations on your win with Texas Monthly.
Thank you so much.
And tell us one more time about where you're at and what you do.
What I do?
Yeah.
I make wine, if that hasn't been abundantly clear. But our tasting room is in Sisterdale proper. So from Boerne up North Main, take a right on the 1376, and we're 7 miles up on the left.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And I'm sure that I will be enjoying your wines for a long time here at Cork and Keg at the Richter Tavern, too.
Thank you, Joey.